morning, Hope Community Church. We've been in the book of Jeremiah, and Jeremiah 12, being at verse 1, Jeremiah's talking to God, and he says, "Righteous are you, O Lord, that I would plead my case with you. Indeed, I would discuss matters of justice with you." And Jeremiah is going to continue, and he's going to say, "Why has the way of the wicked prospered? Why are all those who deal in treachery at ease? You have planted them. You have also taken, they have also taken root. They grow and they even produce fruit. You are near to their lips, but far from their mind." So Jeremiah is asking this age-old question: why do the wicked prosper? And sometimes the wicked even use God's name. They say, "Hey, we're the people of God. We're followers of God." And yet, when you look at their lives, you see wickedness and brokenness. And Jeremiah is saying, "Why is this, God? Why do you allow this to go on?" And he says, "But you know me, O Lord. You see me. You examine my heart's attitude towards you. Drag them off like sheep to the slaughter and set them apart for the day of carnage." These are people that have tried to kill off Jeremiah. These are people that are destroying the land of Judah and Israel. And he's telling God to deal with them. He says, "How long is the land to mourn, and the vegetation of the countryside to wither? For the wickedness of all those who dwell in it. Animals and birds have been snatched away, because men have said, 'He will not see our later ending.'" And then God's going to answer Jeremiah here. He says, "If you have run with footmen, and they have tired you out, then how will you compete with the horses? If you have fallen down in the land of peace, how will you do in the thicket of the Jordan?" So God is going to challenge Jeremiah here that look, this is wearing you down. How are you going to move forward with this wearing you down? And let me give you a couple things, because maybe you're thinking that you're distressed, you're worn down from wickedness that you see around you. And there's a couple things that we need to be reminded of. First of all, God has already told Jeremiah that he will deal with the evil. God has told us that he will deal with evil. We need to be patient. And we need to go back to something. We need to go back to understanding who we are and who has called us to follow him. In the Jeremiah chapter 1, here's what God told Jeremiah, and Jeremiah needs to go back to this and be reminded of this. He says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Knowing is about having a relationship. So we need to know God and be known by him. And he says, "Before you were born, I consecrated you, and I appointed you a prophet to the nations." So we need that relationship with God, and we need to know that God has called us to live out a calling that he has on our lives, that God has appointed tasks for us. And we need to go back to that and be reminded of who we are and what God has called us to do. In fact, God even reminded or told Jeremiah before anything even happened, he says, "They will fight against you, but they will not overcome you, for I am with you to deliver you, declares the Lord." That's Jeremiah 1:19. Jesus said something very similar to his disciples and thus to us. He said, "These things I have spoken to you, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take courage, I have overcome the world." So you and I that are known by God and we know God, we can have peace. Jesus says, "So that in me you will have peace." Not that I have peace with everything that's going on, or I try to see, is the cup half empty or half full? No, I have peace in Jesus Christ. because I know that Jesus Christ is going to restore all things. I know ahead of time that we're going to have tribulation, but we can take courage because God Himself, in the person of Jesus Christ, has overcome the world. Revelation chapter 12 tells us this. And they overcame him, this is the devil, they overcame him because of the blood of the Lamb, that's Jesus, his sacrifice, and because of the word of their testimony, and they did not love their life, even when faced with death. Listen, church, we're going to have tribulation. But Christ has already told us that so that we can have peace in Him. Take courage. He's overcome the world. Love you. Praying for you.